Yeah, the censorship is very profitable for Biden, so it's no surprise that he recognizes these digital censors to kind of be on his team. See, these aren't just sort of Philistines or goons who are arbitrarily shutting people down. The censorship all cuts in one direction. Interestingly, it's not censorship by the government per se, but by these quasi-private monopolies. But these monopolies came to power on false pretenses. They basically assured the American people, gee, you know, we're kind of a neutral platform like the phone company. We're going to allow people to connect with their old friends and engage in robust debate. And the moment that they got this monopolistic power, they turned and they basically decided, we're going to start censoring you. I mean, imagine if the phone company were to say, listen, we're going to be restricting hate speech on the phone. We're going to be listening to what you say. We're going to be limiting your privileges. Even though you pay your bill, we have reserved the right to cut you off. I mean, if AT&T did that, there would be a public revolt and they would shut the company down. But that's exactly what these digital platforms are doing.
And Dinesh, the runoffs in Georgia to determine the makeup of the Senate, who gets the majority, they've only just been announced, right? And already tonight, Georgia Democratic Senate candidates Ossoff and Warnock are attending a fundraiser with Silicon Valley progressives. So they're just tied, joined at the hip with people who want to control every aspect of our lives. So the Democrats in Silicon Valley, marriage made in heaven, and without Trump in the White House, heaven forbid, you know, they're just going to get more powerful and more censorious, Dinesh.
It's hard to believe because I think that this digital censorship represents the worst threat to free speech in America in probably a century, certainly in peacetime. Just to give an innocuous example, a couple of weeks ago, I quoted Biden from the debate on Facebook saying that Antifa was merely an idea. Immediately, Facebook says, we're demonetizing you, we're putting a warning label, and the warning label, very revealing, said, lacking context. Now think about it, lacking context. What context am I expected to provide? And what makes the whole thing so Kafkaesque is that there's no one to call. It's not like if United cancels your reservation, you call them up and go, gee, you shouldn't have canceled my reservation. In this case, there's dead silence. This is all done behind closed doors. There's no form of appeal. Essentially, you're living in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I think they knocked me off, or they locked me out of Twitter on election night. I can't remember why, and that was so stupid. But again, if they can, it always seems to cut one way with Silicon Valley. It's never cut against the Democrats. I mean, they can have a decapitated head in their, in their hands, like a mock, violent depiction of the president, and it's no problem. So, and we just told you, by the way, Dinesh, about Eric Schmidt, a former Google CEO, possibly having a role in Biden White House. Well, Vox reported today that Schmidt's finally looking to, I guess, become a citizen of Cyprus. The new passport gives him the ability to travel to the EU, along with potentially favorable personal tax situation. And individuals who claim Cyprus citizenship can be attracted by a reduction in their tax burden, especially if they're willing to renounce their U.S. citizenship. Now, Dinesh, maybe he was doing that when he thought Trump was, no, that wouldn't make sense because his taxes wouldn't go up under Trump. So how is this going to affect American workers having this guy so close to the White House?
Well, it just shows what total hypocrites these people are. They all want higher taxes, but not for them. They all want to take down the wall, but not around their house. So ultimately, they want a sort of a two-tier society in which they are, as Plato said, the people of gold, and everybody else is the people of bronze.
Yeah,
one set of rules for them and one for everyone else.
We'll just declare citizenship elsewhere. Thanks, Dinesh.